That's going to happen a lot because I have my little tabs or my little, I don't want to call them tabs. They're not tabs. They're little covers is what they are. They have been transformed from milk jug tabs to computer camera covers. Love them. So that's going to happen a lot. I'm going to do my whole introduction, then it's going to come on, and my camera cover will be on as it was on. But we are getting started, early birds, on time. Even if it was just the logo and the chalkboard, we were here on time. How are you? So, are you recovering after Halloween? I am. I had a good day yesterday. I was, practicing my drawing. Not great, but not bad. Right? Not bad. That witch isn't bad. It's not bad. Mm-mm. I like the way I make the ghost, although I probably should do this with the tail, right, next time. So let me get our name on our chalkboard. Early birds. What color? I think it's got to be red to match the fall colors and a color that has not been done already. So what are we doing today? Well, you know what we've been doing? We have been doing grammar up the wazoo. Early birds, nice job on your grammar. You really have. So let's dig in a little bit more. And we're going to continue this because we are doing other science things and other engagement things in our other classrooms. So we've changed our 2 new classrooms' names. They're still the same classrooms though, with the same concepts, but we've changed them. So our 2 new classrooms were Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit and Classroom Engagement. Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit is now called Engaging a Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit. It was Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit Classroom. Now it's Engaging a Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit. No classroom on the end. You know where you're at. You're in the classroom. You know where you're at. You know who I am. The teacher. The teacher. I'm whispering, whisper. How many times am I going to say that woman's name? She was close to my age, too. I didn't believe it. Nope. Don't believe it. Don't believe it at all. Could be possible, though. Okay. The one thing I don't have is my glasses. I set those down. I had them, which is worse than not having them, because if I didn't have them, I'd know exactly where they were. But now that I don't have them, I did have them. I did have them. I don't know where they are. Huh? So I have to go find my glasses, but we have a full day for you today, so I better find those quickly. Let me go and pull up our chalkboard. Oh, I like saying that. I think that's what we're going to call it now. I'm going to pull up our chalkboard. And what's on our chalkboard today, kids? Contractions, homophones, synonyms, and antonyms. And we're also going to do homonyms and homographs when we get to it. And hopefully we'll get to it soon enough. Oh, I know why that is. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to do a little review. And of course, I love looking at the beautiful PowerPoints. They gave it to me. I didn't craft that. Of course, I didn't craft it. Nevertheless, I love it. I love using different backgrounds. I've always been that way. I always wondered why we didn't use more pretty things when we were, trying to teach people a lesson. So, a period used at the end of a sentence that tells or states something. We call that a declarative sentence. So, this is a little review of what we learned yesterday. We learned punctuation. A question mark is used at the end of a sentence that asks something. We call that an interrogative sentence. An exclamation point is used at the end of a sentence that expresses a strong feeling, like an interjection. I had to sneeze. I always call that introjection. I'm not sure. Well, probably it's got something to do with psychology. Anywho, Interjection. Darn it. I can never remember that. Get it? Do you get it? Do you get that? Okay. And then here on one chalkboard are our rules for using commas. So, comma is a mark to indicate a pause. Use it to separate a series of items. We went over these yesterday on day 90. So we spent some time and had some examples for each one of these if you need the review on day 90. Two independent clauses joined by, it's not joined by a clause. Oh, I did this last night. Joined by a conjunction. Do you know I'm changing it right now? I am changing it right now. And you know what else? Of course you know what else. You're going to see it change in a matter of seconds. There we go. Okay, so on that one, conjunction, joined by a conjunction. Set off, we use a comma in order to set off the name of a person you're talking to. Tom, can you come here a second? Tom, comma, can you come here a second? A comma is used to set off words such as yes, no, oh, well at the beginning of a sentence, or words like to and also. These are words that are unnecessary. They are not necessary to the meaning of the sentence. Sometimes people, especially you'll see this in books that you read, will not set these off. I have to find my Kleenex box. Where did that? Oh, here it is, right next to me. They will set them off at the beginning of a sentence. Oh, well, just like they have them here. But often in books, you won't see TOO set off with a comma, or also. You can come also. You can come too. Often you don't see that. But when you think about it, what you want to think about is that we're setting off words that are not necessary to the meaning of the sentence. So even something like, I think the sentence was something like, I just said, Tom, can you come here a minute? It's not necessary to understanding the sentence if I'm right next to Tom. It might be, but it's still set off. I think it's not a bad rule to think about setting off things that are really unnecessary with a comma. But I think a lot of things are necessary in a sentence as well. All right. I have to blow my nose, so give me a sec. Chalk dust. Okay. Unnecessary, you use a comma to set off unnecessary words or phrases that further rename or describe. Like we talked about Jennifer, we didn't say Jennifer, but whatever. Jennifer, who used to be a bodybuilder, is really getting out of shape or something like that, right? It's not necessary. Jennifer is getting out of shape tells me the meaning, and it renames Jennifer in a different way, right? So it's not necessary if I say Jennifer. See, you could argue it is necessary, and that's what I used to do. I did, of course, I did. That's what I used to do as a kid. I used to argue with my teachers about whether or not it was really necessary, and I'm going to tell you something that really helps you better understand the concepts, right? And then better decide. Really, you could see that if publishers decide to use a comma or not a comma, one of your commas or not a comma, then apparently it's not a Nazi grammatical rule. Commas are not Nazi rules, right? I don't understand why. Never mind. This is the early birds. Never mind. I'm going to get into some political rhetoric. Certainly today. We have got a new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. I mean, everyone's like, first of all, is that not a joke of a name? So we've got just a bunch of third graders running our Republican Congress again, and nobody can stand up. This is the second in line after the president. And nobody even knows anything about this guy. Is he the only guy that you can get to stand up there that nobody knows enough about, that he's just not, you can't throw rocks at him? I mean, I get, why do we always have to throw rocks? I get it. But we need to know who this person is. You can't even support McCarthy era. We don't need another McCarthy era. Lots to talk about. I mean, it's a shame that they're making a joke out of this country because they're jokes themselves. Commas, Annette, see, that's when you can call me Annette, when I get totally off track on something that I don't need to get off track on. In the early bird class, anyway. Just preparing you for a later class. Can you cut me some slack? It's your voices in your head. It's not us. Gosh. Separate the day from the month and the date from the year. So I said separate the day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from the month, October, and the date, 31st, or how about November 1st. Can you believe it? We have snow here in Michigan on the ground that accumulated. You could actually still see it. You want to see it? I'll show it to you. Don't even just. Oh, I thought I had that all big. Sorry. I know I was looking over there at the snow. I know I wasn't paying attention. I know I was reading and giving all kinds of non-camera faces. Those faces don't belong on cameras. Oh, I know. I didn't even see them. That's why I don't watch my videos. I don't want to see stuff like that. What was that? You want to see I know. You want to see the snow. Of course you do, early birds. Let's see the snow. Really, seriously. It's the only thing really that you could take for truth is what I'm saying. It's not that I always know what I'm talking about. Most of the time I do, though. I do. But not always. I tell you, you can correct me. I don't see any. What are the comments down below? That's what I want to know. I hear people say it all the time. Mimic me all the time. You're mimicking me. Ugh. Okay, outside. I'm going to show you the snow. Right out the window, right there. It's a chore to get up. Sorry. Look at that. Can you see it? I think you can. Covering up all the evidence of the neighbor guy across the way who sucked up with his vacuum half of his leaves. Not all of them. That's the point. Not all of them. Did you see it? It's beautiful, though, isn't it? Yeah, you can see it. I can see you can see it. Look at that. Oh. See, I know what's going on here. You heathens are afraid of everlasting life because you're going to be dead vampires. Wondering where you're going to get your next suck from. Okay, and then separate the city from the state. And then also you put a comma before a quote. It sets off a quote. So those are all the things we learned yesterday. Dear goodness gracious, we're still there. Reviewing, I mean. Quotation marks are used to indicate someone's exact words. Put punctuation inside the quotes. Unless, and I am a little bit of a stickler. So this is what I started to say. When you begin to do some problem solving in your own head about commas or whatever, there's a little subjectivity there. There's a little bit of your own opinion. That's subjectivity. Your own opinion as opposed to objectivity, which is facts, right? You're using your facts. So some things can be subjective. What I do is I'm consistent with what I know to be the rule and then how I follow the rule. So for example, quotation marks. You put the punctuation inside the quotation marks when the quote ends the sentence. But what if you've got a quote that ends a sentence that isn't a quote as much as it is a phrase that's used all the time? So, kick the bucket. Kick the bucket. Who are you quoting? I don't know. So it can't be an exact quote, can it? But it's a quote because it's a saying. Everybody says it, right? Kick the bucket. But if it ends the sentence, in my mind, the quote is kick the bucket. It's not a quotation. I put the period outside the quote in that instance. And you'll see people have sometimes the period inside or outside, and they vary. There's a rule they're following. I follow the rule that I know to be inside my head based on what I've read and seen, right? So that's the rule I follow. I follow it's not always, the punctuation is not always inside the quotation mark, but it is when it's a quote, when it's a direct quote, okay? So again, the point here is this, not that you can use punctuation all based on your own rules. That's not the point. The point here is that when it gets a little bit murky about the rules, oh my gosh, there was the best Saturday Night Live last Saturday. I just watched it last night on the English language. Oh my gosh. How are you writing these scripts that are just right up my alley that I could talk? Oh my gosh, yes. And that guy, what's your name? I don't know. The host. Your last name is a long name, begins with a B. I can't remember your first name. I should remember your first name. You were my face hurt. I was laughing so hard at his opening monologue, which apparently he wrote. And Nate, oh my gosh. And then, and you're dating Amy Poehler. And Amy Poehler, you get the funniest guys, Will Arnett and Nate. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you're still dating or not, but oh my gosh. I could see what, man alive, you get the funniest men. Anyway, so, and he's doing the English language. And he starts with measurements. Because our measurements make no sense. Oh my gosh. So you use meters. No. And it was our forefathers. No, you know, only in weird sports. And that wasn't, of course, our forefather wouldn't say weird sports. He would, like track and field. Oh my gosh. So I have to say, to understand the English language, and it becomes so apparent when you look at Saturday Night Live's monologue. Oh my gosh. Last Saturday. But no, when you see our measurements. Okay, I'll give you most difficult language conceptually of all. I'll give it to you. Because measurements right there is, arguably some of the most ridiculous, inconsistent. I mean, and there you have it, folks. There you have it. You think we've evolved like we're evolving? Come on. We can't even keep measurements consistent. And we don't even care. We're just like, yeah, whatever. But if you were to be evolving, you would probably, whatever. We've got a problem over here. Lauren Boebert is next to Granny. Oh, I have to get the name right. That what I called her. I can't even know. Granny Senator over there, but that's not what I called her. Granny Barn Burner, something like that. Granny Barn Builder. But that wasn't it. It was much more funny. But that's not bad, Granny Barn Builder, because we know where you came from. Jeez. Okay. ADHD. Look at all the information you just got from that. You know, it gets a bad rap. So I'm saying. Say more, Dr. Feravich, because we haven't even gotten to the lesson. Colon, pay attention to what follows. Or sometimes it's a listing as well, right? The sign said, colon, pay attention to what follows. Colon. What's a colon? Pay attention to what follows, right? What's a quotation mark? What are quotation marks? Colon. Pay attention to what follows. I'll tell you what quotation marks are. Semicolon, used to separate two independent clauses. Remember what that looked like? Do you remember what that looked like? That was the comma on top of the period. I think I've got it here. No, is that the colon? Yes, it's a colon. It's your garbage, colon. No, it's not garbage. It better not be garbage. It's where you keep your garbage, though. In the colon. There we go. It is the period on top of, whoops. It is the period on top of the comma. That is a semicolon. Remember, we just had the colon up there, which we have at the end of each. I don't understand why when I grab this, it's not staying grabbed. It's just insanity. It makes me insane. The colon, a period on top of a period. We just had that one up there. Oh, dear goodness gracious. We're not even to the new info yet. No, that's a semicolon. Semicolon. Oh, because we're using it twice. Used to separate two independent clauses. Instead of using a conjunction, you can use a semicolon. It's used to make the sentence clearer when using numerous commas. And there's the example down below. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, comma, Michigan. We don't want to have comma, Kansas City, comma, Missouri, comma, Denver, comma, Colorado, comma, and Miami Beach, comma, Florida, period. No. We have Detroit, comma, Michigan, semicolon. Kansas City, comma, Missouri, semicolon. Separating each one of those to make the sentence clearer. Look at where we're at, early birds. We're on our new lesson. And so here is part of our new lesson, which are contractions. Now, this did make one of our signs, but not our front sign. I can't remember. Not our front sign that we have on our billboard, on our chalkboard, thumbnail. But we are talking about contractions today. So contractions, they combine contractions. A contraction combines. See, that's not grammatically correct, and it is irritating me. So I'm going to do what I always do and correct it, and you will see the correction appear right before your very eyes. Why does she always talk like that? She's buying time. That's what she's doing. There it is, because magic takes a little bit of time. Contractions combine two words, leaving out one or more letters, and using an, it was late last night, apostrophe in its place. Is she changing it? Well, she's not using her, oh, there it is. She's using her usual talk. Oh, and there it's changed. Okay. So there's our list of common contractions. And as usual, I would like to thank our Southwestern Encyclopedia for this wonderful list. It's such a complete list that they give me. Are not, aren't, cannot, can't, could not, couldn't, did not, didn't, does not, doesn't, has not, hasn't, have not, haven't, she or he has, she's or he's, she or he is, she's, he's, same thing. She or he would, she'd or he'd. I am, I'm, I have, I've, I will, I'll, I would, I'd, is not, isn't, it has, it's, it is, it's, it will, it'll, must not, mustn't, she has, she's, should not, shouldn't, they are, there, they have, they've, they will, they'll, they would, they'd, was not, wasn't, we have, we've, we will, wool, we would, we'd, were not, weren't, what is, what's, where is, where's, will not, won't, would not, wouldn't, you are, your, you have, you've, you will, you'll, you would, you'd. So there you have some of the most common. I'm just looking here why this is a little bit off. There we go. You have some of the most common contractions, and you can see how many letters that the apostrophe replaces. Sometimes it seems kind of funny, doesn't it? Right? I mean, like are not, or is not, isn't. Sometimes you're replacing one letter with the apostrophe. Well, all right, why not just use the one letter, right? But that's okay. In informal writing, we use these all the time. In formal writing, they tend not to use contractions. I would say highly formal writing, like publishing in journals, for example, not magazines, but professional journals. In psychology journals, we weren't supposed to, when we did a manuscript, we weren't supposed to use contractions. It's probably more lenient today. They probably don't care so much. Let's move on. Now we have some homophones. Homophones are words that sound alike but are spelled differently. Sound alike but are spelled differently. Let's take a look at those. And the thing about homophones is you really do need to know the differences. These are some of the most tricky things you're going to learn. And it's not because it's hard to spell the words or even hard to understand that an ant that crawls on the ground is different than your Aunt Shelley. And maybe those two ants should be spelled differently so that when I say ant, you could very clearly know the difference, right? Or if I'm writing, when I'm writing and I say ant, you'll clearly know the difference. You won't be like, is she talking about this ant or is she talking about, Aunt Matilda? If I spell it A-U-N-T, then you know that I'm talking about, for example, my Aunt Matilda. But if I spell it A-N-T, then you know I'm talking about the little creature, the little insect that crawls on the ground. So what I'm saying here is that it is important for you to know these, and they have to be memorized. So all of these will be added. We're adding them right now because We're not adding them right now because you need to know them. We're adding them right now in this format, not putting them on our sight words. Because if I have the sight word ANT on there, you're like, well, how's that a sight word? That's so easy. You need to know these are sight words and they're homophones, and they're sight words because they're homophones. And you need to know also then the meaning of ANT versus AUNT. That's why these are critical sight words. Not because you can't sound them out always. Ant, ant. Our vowels, A, E, I, O, U, our short vowel sounds, I, right? Sometimes I have to stop and think, I, So, ant, A, ant, T. We can sound that word out, right? But how about Aunt Matilda? A-U-N-T. You can't sound that one out. So certainly A-U-N-T is a sight word. Maybe I'll put these sight words up there that aren't that you can't sound out. A-U-N-T. That's probably what I'll do. And that will be a reminder for in your own brain when you see A-U-N-T, you'll be like, what is it? A homophone. Phone, sounds. Homo, H-O-M-O, like. Phones, sound. Phonics, phonemes, sounds. Phones, homophones, sounds alike. H-O-M-O is like. We're going to get to those, which are the root words, Latin root words we're going to talk about, but we're getting there. We're getting closer and closer. I'm actually a little excited about that because of things that we're learning right now even, right? About, our homophones. Phones. Homo is actually a homo, but we say homophones, H-O-M-O, alike, like sounds. Okay? So I will put on our sight words. We haven't done that in a long time. So I'm going to put on our sight words, the words that are the homophone that is difficult to spell. One is probably easy. The other one is difficult to spell. And you'll begin to learn the differences. One of them that we've done here in this last column here is 2, 2, and 2. So we've already worked on homophones here already. I also wanted to say, it's a little bit of a side whatever, that we've also worked on capitalizations. I wanted to remind you, capitalizations were on day 23 and 26. 23 and 26, with likely the most work we did on the worksheets on day 26, okay? That's when we were doing grammar, math, science. So we did capitals on day 23, and then math, science, day 26. We went back to capitalizations, okay? So all of those things, see how you could be like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? She's off on another. Oh, I'm thinking of Nate's monologue. I honest to God am, because he said, he didn't use the word relentless, but he used like the definition of relentless. Books, they're relentless with their words. Give me a break. He's like, can't you just have 2 blank pages so I can get my head above water? Nate, you were so funny. I was tipping over on the couch. I was laughing so hard. Can't you have 2 blank pages so we can get our head above water? in a book. Do you get it? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but I just watched it last night. So, and the things I'm saying right now are reminding me of it. You have to see it. Both his monologue and the bit he does. On the English language. And I think his name is Keenan Thompson. Keeps asking about slavery. And he keeps going back to measurements. Okay, you've seen me cry on here. Have you ever seen me laugh like this? So I'm crying as well. Oh my God. I'm going to lose it. I think I have. All right. All right. 8. So our sight word here would be EIGHT. Okay. But you need to know the difference in the meanings. So ATE is I ate my supper. And EIGHT is the number 8. Okay? Bear and bear. BARE and BEAR. Bare, BARE, is like you're bare naked, put some clothes on. And BEAR is the bear like. You can see in Jordan Davis, he does my son. He looks exactly like my son, and he does my son, which is the bear, right? The claws, bear. Okay? BEAR as opposed to bare naked, for example, BARE. Do you see how you have to have these memorized? If you're writing, you're going to have to, and you're writing about a bear, you can't be running around spelling it BARE. Everyone's going to get a chuckle. And the bottom line is they're going to be laughing at you because you don't know the difference, right? If you're like the hairy bear, BARE, everyone's going to get a chuckle out of that at your expense. So you have to really know the differences between these homophones. BE. I will be there tomorrow. BE is our verb. BEE is our noun, the bumblebee. BEE, right? So it is going to be funny if you're saying there was a yellow BE. That's like to be or not to be. There's a yellow to be or not to be. That does that. So people will totally get a chuckle out of your ignorance. You need to know the difference in these words that sound identical. Beat, BEAT, and beat, BEET. Beat, BEAT is like beating on a drum. That's how they spell the Beatles, BEATLES. But a beet, BEET, is the vegetable beet, right? BEET. And actually a beetle is spelled BEETLE. I learned that from my husband years ago, but then I just heard it again. Somebody reminded me, I forgot. It was Bill Maher actually who reminded me. Blue and blue. Blue, I blew my boyfriend a kiss, BLEW. The leaves blew around in a circle, BLEW, right? So with wind, blew, BLEW. Blue, BLUE, this is the color blue. We need to know. The star is blue, BLEW. People are going to get a chuckle out of that. Board and board, BOARD. BOARD is the boards that you use to make a deck, for example. BORED is I'm totally bored with this lesson. Brake and brake. B-R-A-K-E is the brake on our car. I had to hit the brakes fast. B-R-A-K-E. B-R-E-A-K is when you break glass. Buy and buy. B-U-Y. I'm going to the store to buy groceries. Versus B-Y, which is the preposition, by the stream. And honestly, we have another one here which is not added there, and of course I'm going to add it, and that is, did you already think about it? I bet you did. That would be spelled B-Y-E, and B-Y-E is what? There it is. There it is. And B-Y-E is what? Goodbye. Goodbye. So we've got buy, B-Y, B-U-Y, by the preposition, and goodbye, B-Y-E. Cell and cell. Cell, C-E-L-L, are the cells in your body. Sell, S-E-L-L, is when you sell me a can of worms. Cent and cent. C-E-N-T is 1 penny, a cent. Cent, S-E-N-T, is I sent you a package for your birthday. Dear, D-E-A-R, and dear, D-E-E-R. Dear, D-E-A-R, is Dear Michelle, I've missed you so much. As opposed to D-E-E-R, which is what we see often in the neighborhood, although I haven't seen them around, oh my gosh, in a very long time. The animal deer. I wonder why I haven't seen any deer in a long time. Probably because these doggone neighbors around here, they kill everything. Do and do. Do, D-E-W. That's in the morning when you see that moisture on the ground in the mornings. That's called dew, D-E-W. Versus do, D-O, which is like the beginning of a sentence. And the verb do, right? The verb do could be do, the beginning of a question, I should say. Do you want to go shopping? But it's a verb. Die and die. D-I-E is to go into the grave. D-Y-E is what you do to your shirt. You tie-dye your shirt. D-Y-E. Fair and fair. Fair, F-A-I-R, is like the county fair. It's the fun thing to go to where they have merry-go-rounds. Fair, F-A-R-E, is what you pay when you go through a toll. You pay a fare, F-A-R-E. Feet, F-E-A-T, are not the stinky kind. The stinky kind are F-E-E-T, but F-E-A-T, that's like when you conquer something, right? Like a feat. So you accomplish something. You overcome something. F-E-A-T. Fur and fur, F-I-R, is a tree versus F-U-R, which is what is on animals. Flea and flee. Flea, F-L-E-A, is what you get on your dog. F-L-E-E, flee, is what you do when you are afraid. Flower and flower. Flour, F-L-O-U-R, is what you use to bake with. Flour, F-L-O-W-E-R, is what I like to plant and look at and smell, and is my reward for doing good work. I get to see beautiful flowers. F-L-O-W-E-R. Okay, our time is up here. And it is important, as you can see, for you to know those homophones. And it's so important for you to know them that I'm going through every one of them for you. And you're going to have one resource across 2 days. Tomorrow we'll finish this up. And we will go to synonyms, antonyms, homographs, homonyms, and we forgot we did contractions today too. So we'll do a small review tomorrow, as we always do, but our punctuation is off of our review now, right? So we only really need to review our contractions. And then we're going to come back in and start the review of homophones, and we'll finish up those definitions. So you'll have one source right here to go to for the definitions of those words, because you'll be laughed at if you don't know the difference between 8 and 8, right? I'll have ATE of those, as opposed to I'll have 8 of those EIGHT, right? Makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I would know it makes a difference because I'm the teacher. Thanks for joining me here in the classroom.